Everyone, it's Barbara Hayward here from the Old Girl Spiritual Stuff YouTube channel and Facebook page. And can I tell you, the Old Girl Spiritual Stuff.com, I have a website now. Welcome to you all, no matter where you are in the world today, and no matter what day it is for you that you get to see this wonderful interview. First off, I need to tell you a little something. Out there, they're not spaceships. I live in a house bus and everything is very close, and they're the two lights reflecting. So it's early Sunday morning for me, and you should be able to see the background getting a bit lighter as the interview progresses. So I just wanted to share that with you. So to let you know it's not your eyes, it is reality, and it's my reality. So today I'd like to introduce you to an amazing lady who lives at the other end of the globe to me. I'm in New Zealand and she's from Canada. Her name is Lynn Teatro, and she has got a wonderful, wonderful career and things that she does that I consider to be truly spiritual. And she does live a spiritual life, and hence, as you know, spiritual people are the ones that I do interview. I met Lynn a little while ago, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, and she kept sending me information about her work and the classes and things that she's running. And I just didn't have time. And I kept saying, look, can you just hang in with me? I'll be able to clear my decks soon and to be able to discover what it is that you do. Well, discover I did. And this what she does is something that is really close to my heart for different reasons. Lynn's coming from one direction, I'm coming from another, equally as important. And it's all about the power that we have with our voice. Our words, our diction, our passion through our words. But having that, I'm going to let Lynn tell you all about it. But first off, welcome, Lynn, and thank you so much for coming in on a Saturday for you. And we've tried to do this a few times and it just hasn't got together. But today is the most perfect day for our interview. So welcome, and tell us a little bit about who you are, where you live, and you told me something this morning off tape that I found really exciting about your trees and what you saw about your trees. It's just a little impromptu, personal thing. And if you could just give us a story as to what led up to who and what you do today,
Okay,
please.
that's a lot of information you're asking right off the hot.
I
And I
know.
wish there were actually spaceships in there. Like my imagination was going crazy with that one.
I wish
My
they
name is
were
Lynn
as well.
Teatro. My name is Lynn Teatro. I was born right where I live here in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. I didn't live here all my whole life, but I have for the last 13 years. I was raised on a farm, and the land, nature, the forest is my cathedral. That's where my spirituality comes from, is when I go for a walk in the bush and connect with the trees and hear the birds. Like there's nothing I enjoy more than stretching out on a soft piece of earth and looking up at the trees waving in the sky, hear them crackling, hear them talking, love the birds, the animals, the flora, the fauna. Right where I live the south end of Peterborough, Ontario, as I said before, and right by a creek, there is a heron, a beaver, coyotes howl at night in the summertime. I've seen the coyotes in my backyard. We've got tons of rabbits. The moles have invaded my next door neighbor. There's little tunnels where the moles are going, and that's brought out a possum. So even though I'm in the city, I'm on the edge of the city, and nature is literally in my backyard. So I love that. Peterborough's a beautiful city. It's the site of the world's tallest lift locks. We
Wow.
have a lake right in the middle of our city. It's called Little Lake, and it's part of the Trent Severn Waterway. So people can go practically almost to Mexico, I think. If you go on the Trent 7 waterway, you can go up north here in Ontario and then keep on going south through the States for a long ways away. I had a young man in my program. He was 13 years old, and he and his dad and his sister did that tour. The funniest thing, he told a story about them coming up to the locks, and he was like 6 or 7 at the time. And his dad hid underneath the steering wheel of the boat, and he was the one that looked like he was the one driving the boat into the locks down in the States. And I guess jaws were dropping, thinking that this kid was looking after this boat. So yeah, that's one of the fun things I have about my job is hearing stories. And we all have stories, but unfortunately, too many of us keep those stories inside of us because we're afraid to share them. Now, I predominantly help people do live streaming and go online, but I'm also, because of my background, my career was primarily working in shelters for abused women and their children, and silence was prevalent.
Yeah.
So many women had to run because they couldn't speak up in their lives.
Yeah.
That's what got them to the shelters. So when I retired from that career, I decided that I didn't want women silenced any longer. And I've helped men too, and young men, including the end of the boat. But yes, everybody has a voice. They have it. They don't have to find it. It's all there, already there within them. It's bringing it out and sharing their own stories, their own truth in whatever format, whether it's a casual conversation like you and I've had to over Zoom the last few weeks, or doing it on a stage, doing it in front of a camera, sharing it with the world on Facebook. But we all need to tell our stories. One of the things I think about telling your story is, yes, it's about your past, and it may be something that somebody's heard something similar before, but it could also be a bridge to somebody else's future.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with that.
So that's what my work is grounded in, is helping people claim their voices in whatever format that they want to do it in.
Right. So what experiences have you had in the past? Because what I do know, not just through my own journey, but you never start somewhere and arrive at the end. There's a lot of traveling in between, and I know for me, I started off being a medium clairvoyant, then I did workshops, and then I did radio, and so there's all these things that led me to podcasting over the decades. So what are some of the things that you experienced or experimented with that actually led you to the road here? So Emmylou Harris, mega years ago, sung a song that I think the title was longer than the song itself, said, and the song was, "Every road that I've ever walked has led me one road closer to you." I translate that to, everything I've ever done has led me one road closer to what I'm doing today. So what are some of the things along the road that you've achieved or done or experienced?
I guess the biggest thing I've done is claimed my own voice. I was also silenced by violence.
Right.
In my family of origin, and as well as in relationships. So once I got away from those and did my healing, I went back to high school when I was 29 years old, upgraded and completed grade 13, and then applied to university as a fully fledged high school graduate. And it was one of the best things I ever did for myself. It was so empowering being one of the cool kids. And yeah, my yearbook has got lots of scribbles. My nickname was the Seagram Special. Seagram is a distillery here in Canada.
Right.
And I was still pretty quiet at that time, but I did my undergrad degree in 2 years with 2 kids as a single parent, and went on to work in the shelters, partly because of my own experiences. It was more than my degree that got me working in there, but still didn't have my voice. So I joined an organization called Toastmasters.
Right.
And funnily enough, one of the things that you do in Toastmasters is what they call table topics, which is impromptu speaking. And they just throw a topic at you and you're supposed to get up and talk about it for 1 minute. And that's where I drew the line. It was like, no, no way. You're not going to ever get me to do that. Nope, not ever. And a year later, I was in a table topics contest. And now there's a trophy somewhere in Toronto that has my name on it in 3 places because I won the division contest for impromptu speaking 3 different times.
Can I just add to that, if I may, and explain something? Table topics are quite inane. Now, I've done Toastmasters, I'm a CTM, and one of the ones that I had to do was, and they call your name while you stand up and you start walking to the microphone or the podium thing, they tell you your topic. So that's as long as you get. And the one that I got was the a day in the life of a doorknob. Okay, just to
Oh,
tell you how inane it can be. And that's how much fun it can be as well. The day in the life of a doorknob. And so they're not always easy, but they can be quite fun. I just wanted to drop that in to explain a little bit of what it could be.
well, one of the things that came out of that was my second husband was very violent and he was charged with assault. I was a witness at that time rather than the victim. And I had to go and sit in the witness stand and he was expecting me to lie and I couldn't lie. So I was stuttering and I was stammering and I was so uncomfortable. And, all I could do was, well, he only asked him to dance. That's what he said, you want to dance, but he's got his fist up. Um, so that was a horrible, horrible experience. And then a few years later, after I had claimed my voice, I was a witness in another thing. And the plaintiff's lawyer says to me, well, you belong to Toastmasters, don't you? And I said, yes. And he says, well, don't they have like a liar's trophy? And haven't you won that liar's trophy? And I says, oh, you must mean table topics. That's impromptu speaking. And it's not a liar's trophy. It's a trophy for impromptu speaking. And I don't have to lie to win it. My life is way too interesting to need to lie. And the lawyer's jaw dropped and the other lawyer goes, yes. So yes, that's the power of claiming your voice is you can, and impromptu speaking is knowing that you can shoot
Yeah.
from the lip and make a score.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that experience.
Yeah. So one of the things that and as everybody out there knows, that what I was saying before is our life does evolve. And
Mhm.
as we get more information or new knowledge, we then incorporate that into our work or our life or whatever. And it doesn't matter what subject, be it just spirituality or anything, and our life evolves. So your life has evolved from table topics, not being able to do it for, up to 12 months or winning a trophy after 12 months to today, because you've done a lot of work with mainly women, but men as well, on claiming their voice, finding and claiming their voice, and the power of speaking out for themselves. And you have evolved now into what I would consider, and I'm going to look to the audience here, the most amazing, really, really important aspect of your work. And that's what we'd like to talk to you about today. And I'm not even going to announce it. Oh, and by the way, Lynn, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday. Because as much as we're doing this on a Sunday, your birthday's in a couple of days, and I'm going to be putting this up live in a couple of days. So happy birthday and happy coming of age, may I say. Happy coming of age. And you're more than welcome to let us know how old you are. That is up to you. But could you please tell us all about your new program, your new direction, why it's important, and what we as the audience can get out of it? Please.
Well, one of the things that's happened in our lifetime is this wonderful thing called the internet.
Yes.
And the internet is the perfect stage for our voices.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize the power of speaking up in the moment, on the spot, how authentic and real you are. I know a lot of people take a lot of time, use ChatGPT to create presentations, hide behind their slides. But if you really want to connect with people and get your message across, it's better to just hit that go live button. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's scary. Just like when I was doing table topics years ago, it's like some people are probably digging in their heels and saying, no way, not me. But once you've done it, once you've practiced, once you've honed that skill, it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And and once you've done it and done it regularly and get that under your belt, you can make lawyers' jaws drop. You can connect with people a lot more authentically. Our voices, when we read, are very, very different than when we are speaking spontaneously, when we are speaking from our heart. And that's the power of live streaming, is that you can pick your own topic, share your own message in your own way with authenticity and passion. And you can't do that reading a script.
No. So what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're
But
going to announce for your amazing magical birth? Because a couple of years ago, I was reaching the age you are, and I was struggling, and my son said to me, he was aghast. He said, "Mum, don't you understand that you've just reached the age of magic? You've reached the decade of magic." And so you've entered the decade of magic. So in your magic, what are you creating?
well, I will be turning 70 in 2 days because it's Saturday here in Canada. But in 2 days, on March 31st, I will be turning 70. And for my 70th birthday, I am having I will be announcing a workshop and a masterclass. So the masterclass will happen on April the 14th on a Monday, and it will be free. But I will have a follow-up workshops spaced over 2 weeks because it takes time to develop that courage, and just to do it one day after another day, another day isn't going to work for people. I feel much more comfortable giving people some time and space to absorb the information, practice it a little bit, and then come back on and add to it. So it will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting April the 14th. Go to April the 25th is the last date. I wrote it down here. And at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, because that's Eastern Daylight Time, because that's what I'm on. And the masterclass will be free, but I am charging a small fee for the rest of the program. Small enough that people can say yes,
Yeah.
but enough to get their commitment.
Yeah.
I want people to recognize that their voice is worth investing in, and it'll be a lot of fun because
Uh-huh.
I don't do boring very well, and a lot of participation to learn to do while you're doing it.
Right.
I'm not a lecturer. It's my workshops are workshops. There will be
Yeah.
no recordings of it because you won't get anything out of the recording because you need to do it to learn.
Yeah. So what is the name of this workshop? It's
The,
amazing, by the way.
the name of the workshop is Shoot from the Lip, Impromptu Speaking for Live Streams.
And what anybody can do this? I know
Yeah.
that you work a lot with entrepreneurs, and they also sometimes flag with the power of their voice. And anybody can join this. Anybody can do
Anybody
this.
can join this.
And what is the aim of the workshop, and what is the aim of the outcome? What am I
I
going to
thought
what am I going to be able to do after it's finished? I guess.
by the final Friday, I'm hoping, but I also know that people need to work at their own pace. But I'm encouraging people to do a live stream, and I will go through them and we will share them and we will comment on each other and give each other power boosts and say, yes, you did it, because doing it is sometimes just a real struggle. So just making that big step is huge. So celebrating that is what I want people to be doing. And I'm also going to give people the option, if they want to set up a Facebook group that only them and I belong to, so that at least I can see what they've done and give them feedback, that's fine too. I want to meet people where they're at and then move them 2 or 3 steps along the path. So wherever you're at right now, I want to help you move a little bit further towards impromptu speaking on Facebook, it'll be on Facebook because that's more accessible to most people. So yeah, that's what I want to do.
And it really will help if you're on social media. Social media for a lot of people is very hard. I know when I started on social media it's only 18, not even 18 months ago. I started on social media. So, and it can, and certainly for older people, and I'm not talking about the elderly because, well, some see me as that now. It is for when you're 65 and over, when you've retired, you've got no reason anymore, possibly the demands aren't on you anymore. You do lose this skill a little bit. You become a little bit more isolated, a little bit lacking in confidence. So for women that are in that predicament, do you think this would be good for them?
I think that once they get comfortable with the idea of going on camera for whatever reason, they're going to be like you and me and connecting with people all over the world.
Yeah.
That's what I love about being alive at this time, is that there's been so many changes. Like, 60 years ago, wouldn't even have dreamed that I'd be talking to somebody who lived, at the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
And so connecting with people, and that's what Facebook does. And when it's easier to find the people that you can really resonate with. I mean, when you're in a small community, you've only got the only people you can select from for your friends and are whoever's in your community, whoever's within shouting distance of you. It's easier to find like-minded people when you're on social media, because sooner or later, like you and I, we connect and we can talk. And, when you and I first connected, it wasn't just, hi, how are you? What do you do thing? It was, we went into a deep conversation because you're like, hey, things have to be meaningful in order to have a conversation. Otherwise, we're going to get bored.
And I can really relate to that. When I first started in my trade, 40 years ago, 40 plus years ago, in my day, I've probably done about 14,000 readings, spiritual readings, and the majority of that were face to face. You were in my in my office, and so I moved around quite a bit to live, but it was still there. And when I was on my radio show as a clairvoyant 30 plus years ago, we only had like 35,000 listeners, but that was 30 odd years ago, and in a provincial town that went around. Now we get clients from all over the world. Where I was on a television show not long ago that went out to about 110,000 people. And so that is the difference. And it does take a little bit of extra confidence and an extra practice of knowing what you're doing than it used to be for when we started. And so for those out there that are a little bit inspired, that this is something that you would like to do, to learn, to be more impromptu or more organized, or just have the confidence to. In the beginning, it's not easy to see your face on camera like this, because you go, oh my God, the splotches and the hair's not right and what have you. First, you've got to get past that. And then, oh, my voice is not. I've got a very Australian ochre voice because I am an Australian ochre girl. And then you've got to forget all about that, because that's not what people see. That's not what people hear. It's what we see and we hear. So for those out there that are looking for the next level of their life, even if as Lynn said, it could be facing a lawyer, could be facing a bank manager, could be facing a member of the family that you've lost your voice with. If you want to discover you, not find, as Lynn said, but discover your voice, to find that you do have a purpose and a meaning in your life, and you even if it's about boundaries, setting boundaries for others. So going from setting boundaries for others, having the voice to do it, to having your own podcast channel, anywhere in between that. This could be for you. Check it out. Speak to Lynn about it. When we finish this, I will put Lynn's links up. Go discover Lynn. Go find out the amazing person that she actually is. Even beyond what you see, there is so much that we haven't been able to fit into this very short period of time. I highly recommend, $49. Being an Australian, that would be about because I live in New Zealand, that'd be about $100 for us. It's such a small amount for the confidence that you're going to gain out of this. I'm not saying that $100 is a small amount of money. What I'm saying is that if this is for you, then that is an amazing low investment for your own voice. You have the right to have your voice, to be it as powerful as it needs to be, because I want to tell you something. You were born magnificent, you are magnificent, and you will die magnificent. And if you don't know that to be a truth, then Lynn, through this, is going to allow you to discover your magnificence via your voice. So, Lynn, would you like to share something before we sign out here today?
Well, number one, we all have this negativity bias. And when we look at ourselves, we always point out the things that we don't like about ourselves. When we hear ourselves, we point out things that we don't like. And remember the time when we didn't really have recording devices around and we heard our voice for the very first time, and it's just like, oh my God, I sound like that. That's keep that in mind, that we all always look for the negative. And one of the things I do in my programs, all my programs, is let's look at the positives first. Yeah. Let's look at your strengths. The other part is, it's not just preparing for the boundaries and the courtrooms and those kinds of things. One of the things I've been doing for myself for my birthday is telling the people that I love them. The people who are that I care about, I've been telling them those. I've been using my voice to say, I care about you, I love you. And we don't do that often enough because we're afraid to use our voice. So it's not just, it's about doing the positive things with our voice too. Raising a toast to somebody because they've done something spectacular. Do we do that on a regular basis? No. But if we have our voice, we can.
Yeah.
Raising somebody. Not just, oh, that was a good job, but telling them specifically how that job was. That's using your voice.
Yeah.
So many times that we miss opportunities to really connect with people in a positive way because we're afraid to use our voice.
That is amazing. And, sometimes we aim for the big thing when we forget it's the little small steps that, you cannot do 1,000 kilometers except by 1 kilometer 1,000 times. It's the smaller things that build up to become the bigger things. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, I highly recommend contact Lynn. See what Lynn has. Is it for you? If it is for you, because I be assured of one thing. I'm sure I know that as much as Lynn's doing this in April 2025, this will not be a one-off. So if you're
No.
looking at this in 6 months' time, contact her, see if she's still doing, or there may be a different course for you that she's got at the time. So thank you, Lynn. Thank you very much for sharing us on your birthday week. Your amazing ability to encourage people to be all that they can because they can. And happy birthday. And just keep up the good work you're doing, please.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll connect. We'll connect soon, and I'm sure there'll be another program coming up later this year, and we'll connect with that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening and for seeing us right through. And until next time, be good, be kind, and please don't forget to breathe. Breathe. Bye bye.